mustache. Comb in my mustache.
Come in my mustache. Come in my mustache.
Okay. Be aware of cussing and stuff. Like we can obviously we don't have to change how we are, but maybe off the rip.
What's up, welcome back to the internet's #1 fake history podcast.
Perfect. You know what? I we're not monetized anyways. Let's put it all in.
Ethan is the CEO of YouTube's #1 hater. I'll have you know, clearly.
True.
Yeah.
All CEOs are my ops.
That's true. Yeah.
Your dad owns a mom and pop store, okay, and he owns it exclusively. Yeah, I fucking hate him. Okay, he owns a local business and he's trying to support the local economy. I fucking hate your dad. Okay. Welcome back to the internet's #1 fake history podcast, The Lore Boys. I'm Fairy Queen Ethan, joined as always by my two favorite boggarts, James Miller and Peter O'Donoghue. Hi, fellas.
Hello.
That's a good goblin, man. I didn't know you
I
spoke
think that's what
goblin.
that would sound like.
I'd imagine. So today we're going to be returning to the plane of Lorwyn because the set just came out, and we have an updated picture of what has happened to the plane since we introduced it a month ago, a month and a half ago, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't
Before
know
the
when this
holidays.
episode's coming out. Some point before the holidays. Before we get into it too much, I do want to give a shout out to today's patron of the week, Sylvan Space. Hi, Sylvan Space. Thank you for joining the Patreon. If you want to become a patron, patreon.com/loreboys. There's a link in the description. Check it out. We love you. Mwah.
Please.
Okay, so Lorwyn, what do you guys remember about Lorwyn?
I remember it was very classic, like 70s fantasy. A lot of the art you showed us was very painted on the side of a van sort of stuff. I remember the elves looking particularly weird, and there was some kind of immortal queen, right? She was evil and like was perpetuating some kind of cycle.
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Wands and wings and floaty crowny things, and
Yes.
there's fairies. A lot of -1
chocolate cake.
A lot of -1 counters. I know the game now more through the cards that I've been seeing leaking through like MTG Reddit and like just in my algorithm and stuff more than I actually remember the story. So I might need
it's
some
Jamie's
help.
new hyperfixation is the pretty pieces of cardboard. So
yes.
I said it once, I'll say it again. We are all slaves to Hasbro at this point. Isn't that right? Nemesis Prime. Yes, it is, Peter. Yes.
Yeah,
just watch us at this point, Hasbro. Come on.
Yeah, right. Just give us $1 million, Hasbro. Come on. What the heck?
Please.
Yeah. So Magic for the uninitiated. It's Spellslingers, an infinite multiverse, and each plane kind of has its own flavor. The Lorwyn plane based loosely on like Welsh and Irish mythology.
Right.
So a lot of creatures from that. Notably, on the plane, it's one of the only planes, I think the only plane certainly that we've ever talked about, where humans aren't one of the races that exists on the plane. They don't. Instead, we have Kithkin, or more similar to hobbits or halflings.
Yeah, those are the fire lady too, right? There's like the fire people. There's the elf. Yeah. Okay.
I got a new deck. She's right here. You won't be able to see it with all the glare, but there she is, Ashling. The Limitless. That one's called.
Cool.
Yeah. So other things about the plane, like you said, Peter, there was an eternal cycle. So there's a fairy queen named Una, queen of the fairies. And there was this like every 300 years, I think it was, cycle between where it would cycle from daytime,
right,
Lorwyn, to Shadowmoor, nighttime.
Right, and everybody forgot, and their personalities changed, so they had their night self and their day self, right?
Exactly, and like and nighttime Shadowmoor people were like paranoid and fearful and you know, not evil per se, but like it was a much like worse place to be, I think. Shadowmoor.
Something that I saw that's really cool from the cards is some of the lands actually feature like the dusk version, so like where the shadow and the light meets, so you can see like beautiful like sunset of the swamp or the forest or whatever, and the art's really, really cool on it.
Yeah, cool. So it's Lorwyn Eclipsed. So Lorwyn, the original set, I believe came out in 2002, but it's sometime in the aughts. Maybe it was later in the aughts, but I think it was 2002, a long time ago, a million years ago. And now Lorwyn Eclipse just came out, and yes, there are eclipse zones, which we did talk about on our last episode. If you're new to the show, you don't need to listen to our last Lorwyn episode to know what we're going to talk about. I've done my best to just make it pretty basic, and we'll go over the same concepts that we went over before. So,
cool.
Our story's not gonna begin on Lorwyn, if you can believe it. Okay, Melon, hold on to your hats. We're not starting on Lorwyn. We're gonna start on a plane known as Arcavios,
Okay.
which listeners might realize is not the same as Lorwyn.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
Now, is this place currently being invaded by Phyrexians, or is there a planeswalker here that we need to learn about? Because that is
uh,
I'm pretty familiar with the setting at this point.
okay, I love the guesses, but
Okay.
no and no,
Darn.
actually. Yeah, so Arcavios is a home to a magic school known as Strixhaven, which is Hogwarts. It's Magic's Hogwarts, basically.
Right. Okay.
It does deserve its own episode at some point. The invasion of Phyrexia is over. It's been beaten at this point. We never really tied
Oh.
up that story with like a cute little bow, but like on the last Lorwyn episode, we did talk about like the Phyrexian invasion of Lorwyn for a time and how they
Yeah.
beat it back. We'll do the final. Like I've said it a million times. I'll do Bolus someday. Like we've done like his introduction and he's shown up in a bunch of episodes, but we've never fully talked about him.
Right. Okay.
And same thing with the invasion of Phyrexia. There's just like it was Magic story for years, you know what I mean? So there's so many pieces to cover that we haven't gotten around to it yet. And I like to jump around a little bit. So
Cool.
this post invasion, we have this magic school known as Strixhaven. And at the start of our story, we have 4 Strixhaven students known as Sanar, Kiril, Abigail, and Tamira, participating in a little field trip outside of school grounds led by their teacher Dina. So I did post the frizz, yeah. Can't this just be a normal field trip? Believe you me, it will not be for these guys. Okay.
So is Abigail the owl?
Abigail
the
is
one
the
normal
owl.
last name?
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
so it's Abigail Gale, like
Huh.
Gale,
of course.
like wind.
Of course.
So it's a wind pun. Yeah. So we've got Sanar, who's a goblin. He looks kind of like a monkey, but that's that plane's version of a goblin, basically.
Yeah.
Kiril, the next one, the kind of nervous looking. He's got the pointed ears like an elf, but he's actually a vampire.
I was gonna ask if he was a vampire. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we've got Abigail, the Owlkin, and we have Tamira, or Tam, as she's most commonly known, who's a Gorgon
Cool.
of Medusa fame.
Cool.
I don't know if either of you noticed, but there's been a trend going around where you say, "Here's my impression of an owl if it were X," and then
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So like
Go
for
ahead.
an example, like here's this is my impression of an owl if it were Australian, and it goes like her. And people have done very good ones up from like ranging from the Toronto accent to just about anything. So it's cool. We're seeing an owl. Owl, yeah.
I think
All
did you not send me one of those reels on Instagram like today, Jamie? Like that's why I know about that. It was like an owl, if an owl was Scottish, it's like just a full compilation of it.
I don't think I sent it, but I have seen it.
Oh, no?
We're on the same
Somebody sent me
algo.
one today.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys share an algo.
Yeah.
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 Here's an owl if it went to Agartha.
Fun fact, I didn't write it into the script at all. But here's what an owl would sound like if it was Abigail the owl from the Strixhaven Academy.
Oh.
Okay.
She's deaf, so the watchers on YouTube will get that joke I was signing. She's a deaf owl. Which I think is fun because owls notoriously hear very good, but this one doesn't. She does have a magic hearing aid. I didn't write any of this into the script because I was like, this is irrelevant fluff. We don't need it, and now we're talking about it. So I guess
I don't think she would sound like that if she actually tried to say who. What would she actually? Oh,
go ahead, do the voice. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. By all means. Yeah.
I'm okay. Actually, I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was trying to think. I was trying to think of
do
what Sue Thomas FBI sounds like. If you curl your tongue back, you kind of sound like that actress.
I mean, let's be like, this is a trend on TikTok now and Instagram. Like, we're trying to capture an audience here, JB.
Deaf owls.
Let's get on the bandwagon. Huh?
No, I couldn't possibly. Helen Fowler. Is an owl a foul?
Okay.
I don't know.
Not bad. Heron Keller. That's a different bird.
Okay, that's good.
Not
Yeah.
bad.
All right.
Owl.
Owl.
Huh? So so they're on a field trip. Okay, the field trip is literally like it's a flower picking assignment.
I'm going to a magic school when that's my homework. Sorry to cut you off
Yeah.
immediately there. Like,
Come
come
go
on.
pick magic. Go to the forest. Go pick magic flowers. But like, do you guys know why you're the first underclassman to ever be taken to the forest here? And it's like, oh, because it used to be super dangerous and there's dangerous monsters living in it and stuff can happen,
Okay.
bad things can happen in the forest outside of a magic school, right?
Mhm.
Uh, and
Big ass spider.
of course, the teacher's like the inner monologue of the teacher or the TA who's like taking them out there is like, God, this is so boring. I'm just gonna sit here and like look at the sky until we're done this so we can all go back. Um,
Like a hungover Hogwarts TA, and it's just like,
yeah,
yeah, all right, let's go. And then whatever
yeah.
the name of the giant fucking spider was, just like snatches up one of the kids. Who like
Damn,
the one kid, the one wizard kid who didn't have a permission slip. It's like, fuck, man.
yeah. Damn, bro, I hit the polyjuice so hard last night. Feel like I wasn't even myself, man. So
Like Polyjuice morph into just a drunk version of
a
yourself.
drunk
Yeah.
It's just like your hair's all fucked up. You got like shitty clothes, like
Yeah,
big
just
cold McDonald's.
dried vomit on your chin.
You better not train from a boy to a girl or a girl to a boy, though, since it's J.K. Rowling's work, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
the
right,
black
right.
mold in her house said so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a flower picking assignment. These four like aren't friends. They don't really know each other, but they do end up like in the same place talking to each other around the same time. And they spot Sinar, the goblin monkey, spots something in the branches above him and just takes off chasing it. He's a bit of a scamp. We'll learn this
Okay.
little goblin. So he goes off chasing him. One of the other students is like, I gotta go get him, and then they were holding like one of the other kids' flower baskets. So that kid's like, well, I gotta go get my flowers to get a good grade, and they'll end up running off,
Okay.
right? So they're chasing this thing, and this thing is described as like a humanoid insect, almost bipedal, with long, spindly limbs covered in shining blue chitin. Its wings were broad and shimmering like sheets of mica flaked off some larger piece of stone. So it would be a weird thing to see, this little. I mean, I'll cut to the quick. This weird little fairy in the trees
Yeah,
above
yeah.
you. You know what I mean?
We need to get that back to school to pin it to our child-sized corkboard for the collection.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, so the creature laughs at them, right? And they decide that running breakneck through the forest after it is the play, right? They're like, hey, we got to keep chasing this thing because it laughed at us now. So now we definitely got to get it right. As they're running, a tree root seems to move of its own accord, tripping them all and sending them tumbling down a hole. That hole, it turns out, leads into and then through the blind eternities, which is like the fractal, incomprehensible space that exists between realities, until it eventually spits them out on a brand new heckin' plane. And I bet you guys could guess which plane this one is.
Gonna be Lorwyn.
Sure was Lorwyn. Yeah, good job, Pete.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do set you up with a double blind there.
I was ready
A
for
double
it.
bluff.
I was like, I'm not talking first because he's gonna get our ass, man. Yeah.
I often do.
Yeah.
Buried that lead under a magic tree, dude.
I'm an ass
down the pit
getter. What
straight
can I
into it.
say? So I sent you guys a picture of Lorwyn that you can behold, and if you're watching on YouTube, you should be able to behold it right here. Suck it. Or here?
That's
Is it
right.
here or here?
I
Okay,
think
this
that
one,
was
yeah.
right. Yeah.
I'm mirrored. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and if you're not listening on YouTube, we're on YouTube now. So you can check it out there, or you can join our Patreon, and we'll just send you the pictures in the
Okay.
mail,
Yeah.
or on Discord, whichever.
If you waited 10 years to find out what our walls look like, now's the time to do it.
If you want to see what my daughter's Bluey doll looks like, you can see that too.
Yeah.
Looks like
I swear
Bluey
it's my
in the
daughter's.
show
It's not
Bluey.
mine.
Never mind the jar that it's in. Okay. So the environment
Oh god.
the environment they arrive in is immediately disorienting. Okay. The landscape is fractured between areas of full daylight and areas of deep night, existing side by side without gradual transition. So when we were describing Lorwyn last time, we did end the episode by we talked a bit about the story of Lorwyn, and then we ended the episode talking about like what the plane was, or what we thought the plane would be now as it's eclipsed. And we know that instead of transitioning like the plane fully from Lorwyn to Shadowmoor over this like great cycle with this event known as the Great Aurora, we have the Aurora kind of like moves around as walls, and there's sections of Lorwyn Shadowmoor which exist as either like light or day side by side at the same time, basically.
Okay.
And we'll get into the mechanics of what that is via the story that we're going to talk about here. So shadows fall sharply against bright terrain, and celestial bodies appear fixed in unnatural positions. This is the plane of Lorwyn, though none of the students recognize it at first. There is a fun little moment where one of them looks up and is like, "Hey, one of the two suns is gone," and then they realize like, "No, that portal that we fell through must have taken us to some crazy world which only has one sun."
Okay. Does Strixhaven, do they have classes on other planes? Like, are they aware of other planes that they can educate kids about
Yeah,
now?
for sure. For sure,
Yeah,
they
I mean,
know.
post
Yeah,
Phyrexian invasion, they must have known at some point, like, oh, this one showed up with a katana, so there's
yeah, exactly.
Kamigawa is a real place, right?
That guy's got a bandolero, and a 6-shooter. What the heck?
That's Thunder Junction.
That's a that cactus has twin Colt or Smith and Wessons. What the hell?
That's just Digimon.
No, that's Bristly Bill from Thunder Junction.
Oh, I don't remember that character. That is awesome,
I don't
but it
I
does
don't think we
sound
talked.
like a
I don't think we
fucking
talked about it.
Digimon.
It's a great card though. But he is a cactus cowboy.
Incredible.
Nice.
Mhm. So these 4 students are not planeswalkers, like I said before. You were wrong, Peter. Just gonna really set that in stone. Traveling the
Thank you.
traveling
I
the
appreciate it.
multiverse was at one point impossible for them, right? Or close to. They could have. So originally, when planeswalkers are powerful wizards who can travel between the realities, or used to be able to travel between the realities. Still can, but so they were introduced at some point in Magic's lore, and then it was introduced that they're able to bring people with them, because before that they weren't able to bring people with them. Then something happened in the multiverse that allowed them to bring people with them. But following Phyrexia's invasion of the multiverse, they corrupted something known as the World Tree on the plane of Kaldheim, which is like the Viking plane. And that they created something called Omen Paths, which exist throughout the planes now, like the roots of the World Tree snake between all like a bunch of different planes, and the Phyrexians like really accelerated that for their own use so that they could travel between planes. We talked about it at some point on one of the Phyrexian
Okay.
invasion episodes. But there are these
Does it
Omen
prevent
Paths.
them?
Go
Does
ahead.
it prevent the Phyrexians? Because I know when they can't travel through, they can't planeswalk in the same way. They have like all their biological material stripped away, right? And they just arrive as a metal skeleton.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're not a planeswalker, then like your flesh cannot survive the transition. So
Right.
Phyrexians would travel and they'd just be like metal left over at the end, and they'd
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
find some way to like recomplete themselves, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pete, to put it in ways you understand, it's like you can't transform Optimus when you're driving him, because you you turn to a pink mist. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I always thought about like you transform with there's someone sitting inside a transformer when they transform. It's like how you don't bite your tongue normally. And
You
you
know,
kind of reposition Mark Wahlberg in there.
it's funny you say that, Jamie. Like, I don't know if you guys knew this, but back before labor unions and workers' rights, they used to have children drive Optimus Prime because they were small enough to fit in the machinery while he was transforming.
Right. Yeah. They would.
Of course, there was accidents. Of course, there was.
They would be less frequently maimed.
Yeah.
They use the kids to clean the tailpipes like chimney chutes too. It's
There's a weird dark joke in there about Optimus Prime, a sentient being, getting his tailpipes cleaned by a child.
God.
So the Omen Path, these Omen Paths these are like the way most people can travel the multiverse now, and have been able to since the end of the invasion. And that is how they do it. They'll travel via these Omen Paths. Most of them are fixed. Not all of them are. Some of them, sometimes they do just appear and disappear. If you ask me, it's when it's convenient for the writing. They can appear and disappear. Otherwise, they're fixed. You know what I mean? So this Omen Path, very convenient for the writing, appears as a shimmering triangular hole in reality, described as like the film of a soap bubble. It sits near above them, maybe 15 feet up. So they come crashing through. They land on the ground. They're like 15 feet. That's too high for us to get back through, right? Abigail the Owl does say she won't leave them stranded here without her, because one of them is like, you can fly, go back through and tell somebody what happened to us and have people come help us. And she goes, no, I'm going to stay here just in case you guys get into trouble. And it's like, they already are in trouble. The best way you can help is by telling a goddamn adult.
She's actually
we're
like,
not going to.
they're like, you can fly back up through that if you want. And she's like, what? I can't.
She does have a magic hearing aid, which lets her hear like speech, like when people speak. At some point, somebody is going to sign to her in like, you know how there's like American Sign Language, and there's presumably other sign languages as well.
Owl.
Someone's gonna speak to her in like
Jinx.
Yeah, in Chinese owl sign language, and her hearing aid is going to be able to translate it. Pretty incredible.
Cool.
Um,
Is
Technology.
this like Daredevil? Because his superpower is being not blind.
yeah, it's like
Okay.
pretty much the same. Like there's
Okay.
we'll see a drawback to it at some point, and I didn't. Again, I'll say it for the fifth time. I didn't write into the script because I didn't want to talk about it, but here we are talking about it again. Yeah, I guess it is interesting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but so Abigail the Owl is like, no, I'm not going to go fly back up and get one of our teachers when. Like, I also we're not maybe we'll talk I think we'll talk about this on the next episode, but, like, 2 of the teachers or one of the teachers at the school and then another person at the school is a Johnny Goldmane and Liliana Vest, 2 of, like, the most
Oh
powerful,
shit.
best known planeswalkers who, like, if
Mhm.
she just went and got them, this little romp would have been done in no time, you know what I mean?
Right.
But then it wouldn't be a very good story, so we can
Yeah.
Please go
forget from
tell one
that.
of our demigod teachers that we have a problem here, and she's just like owl shaking her head, obviously like 100 degrees in every direction, just like all the way around.
Exactly, exactly. So they find themselves standing before a great empty gate. The gate itself seems to be a doorway from day to night. And I do have a picture here. I'm all out of order, but I'll give you guys a picture of like this is sort of like the divide between you can see like the divide between like Lorwyn and Shadowmoor. It's like splitting a tree in half, where like half the tree is like green and like growing, the other half is like shadowy and dark. And then there's
That's
like
very
that
cool.
gate, that like stone arched gate is essentially like what they're standing in front of.
Cool.
But here's a quote. The group turned. There, behind where they had landed, was a massive gateway formed of 2 tall stones with a third laid across them. All 3 were patterned in spirals and covered in faintly glowing purple moss. Most unnervingly of all, however, the gateway was freestanding, not attached to any wall or mountain, and yet it seemed to mark a barrier between the bright, beautiful day around them and the very dead of night. Darkness stood on the other side of the gate, broken by patches of glowing fungus and swarms of glittering fireflies, but otherwise infinitely deep. Um, yeah, so they see this again, like this, like another portal. It's not like the omen path that they just came through, but they can tell that it's a portal. Um, they decide that whoever built this big stone archway must be tall, right? Because it's such a big archway. So they say if it's a really tall person, they can lift us back up to the omen path and we can
Yeah.
get out of
Okay.
here, right? So they're like, let's go to the scary, dark place through this weird gate that seems to lead to a different place than it should. Because there might be a tall person in there.
These
And
aren't
you guys are,
children, right?
yeah. Well, no, it's a university. It's Magic University. So
Oh, because
yeah.
I was
So kind of,
like, this is kind of dumb Goonies ass self-preservation logic, right? Or I've been watching Welcome to Derry. This is very kids in the it fiction
I'll,
kind of levels of self-preservation, but it's university. They're like in their 20s.
I'll say. I mean, they're underclassmen, right? So they're freshmen. So I'm gonna say like 1920, which
Yeah.
in my mind is still a child. And
Well,
one thing
yes.
that I think a lot of fiction does wrong is painting 19-year-olds as like these incredibly well-rounded people. I'll go ahead and throw one
Yeah.
name at the wall. Like I just read Will of the Many by James Allington, which is a great book, but it suffers from the problem of like its main character is like a compelling character. It's like such cool. The world building in that book is incredible. I think it's like very, very cool and pretty fresh for the fantasy genre. But the main character is like he's a master tactician. He's like super athletic. He knows all the he knows every ancient history about ancient every civilization. He's a chess master and he's
Oh.
17.
Well,
And it's like
his name's Will, right? It's Will of the many, and the many is all the things he's good at.
all the things he knows.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
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 Jack of
Well,
all trades, will of the many.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do like
As a sidekick.
I do like that logic though. Like imagine running up on the pyramids for the first time. Like, where's the big people who put this thing together, huh?
I need an adult.
Makes more sense than aliens. Makes more sense than
Yeah.
aliens to see the pyramids and be like, damn, ancient Egyptians must have been tall, dude.
Yeah.
Look how big their sphinxes was.
Yeah. Look at their kitty cats, man. They're
Yeah.
They're
huge.
huge.
Yeah. So they decide they need a tall person. They need uppies. So they go through the gate. They pass through. They find themselves in a cave. The gate outside from this side seems to be not freestanding. So it's like it is a gate built into this cave wall. So in this like sealed cavern essentially, where the only entrance that they can see is like this gate, which just leads out.
Okay.
Um, so it's built into, whereas outside again it was just like freestanding essentially, right? And they're in Shadowmoor now, right? Like they don't know it yet. They don't transform. which is important. Pete mentioned at the beginning, but like locals of this plane do transform into different versions of themselves, or they're like happier, more heroic, more outgoing people um, whenever they're in the Lorwyn side, and they're paranoid and distrusting whenever they're on the Shadowmoor side. Important to say, like, that it's not like good and evil, though some of the more evil characters, Lorwyn evil characters, will think that it is good and evil, and that the Shadowmoor version of themselves is actually evil and must be destroyed, even though their like Lorwyn side is pretty evil. We'll talk about that a little bit. They notice more carvings along the wall, most notably depictions of both a sun-headed and moon-headed creature, and those two creatures changing places. We did talk about the sun-headed and moon-headed creature
Oh, the
on the
anteater dragon is the moon-headed creature, right? That I
exactly,
drew
yeah.
last time. Yes. Yeah.
And I would give you each $10 million if you could remember their names, but I'm pretty confident that you can't. So
You keep that money.
so they continue on into the cave until they stumble upon not just a carving, but one of the two incarnations itself. And I will post a reminder, not the same pic I shared last time, but what that picture looked like. So here's
That's a way cooler picture than the one that I had as a reference. This is awesome.
The daytime
this
one
is like
is Sunny,
the
and this moon one is Cher, right?
Oh, damn it. No, I'm ruined. I'm fucking ruined. No. God, fuck. I'm sure you never get it.
Hand over the Bluey doll. I know you can't pay up right now. Give me everything. Yeah.
No, not Bluey. Okay, so here's a quote for you guys. The cave they had followed this far widened out and became a rounded chamber so large that the far side faded off into the darkness, dominated by a spiraling pattern etched into the stone floor. More of those strange carved stones surrounded the pattern, some of them floating, all of them glowing a soft, lambent silver. And there, at the center of the circle, was the moon-headed creature from the cave paintings. Its hide was a deep midnight blue, fading toward full moon silver gold as it neared the head. Its neck was also impossibly long, and its wings were fused behind its back, creating the impression of a vast, dragging tail. Aside from the wings, it had 6 ambulatory limbs, which appeared divided into 4 legs and 2 arms. As for the creature's head, it was impossible to see its shape clearly, shrouded as it was in trailing mist that should have read as fog, but was somehow clearly a shifting cluster of clouds that surrounded the softly glowing moon.
Very cool. What does ambulatory mean?
It's you can put them in an ambulance.
It's not that, right? It can't be that. Ambulatory.
No, it means I can move around on them.
They can move around into an ambulance, maybe. Sure.
They can, yeah. That's exactly it. Sorry, that's the second half of your point.
Is that what they can? Is ambulance?
It means they were featured in the 2022 film Ambulance by Michael Bay.
We talked about that in our 200th bonus content that came out this tomorrow. So check the Patreon for that. We had some fun with it. Yeah.
But yeah, ambulatory is like you can walk. Like we're ambulatory creatures because we can walk around.
Okay.
Speak for your fucking self, man. What the hell?
So an ambulance is just a hospital that can move around.
Yes,
precisely.
Wait,
it's a hospital. That's why they have legs.
Wait a minute. Yes,
it's a car with legs.
Yeah, an ambulance is a car with 6 legs and a dragging tail, right? Formed of 2 fused wings on its back. So they see this big old creature, this big old critter. They're like, most of them, I should say, we'll say 75% of them are like, damn, that's fucked up. What a big monster. We should probably go. But the goblin, Sonar, right? Mischievous and impulsive, strides forward and lays a hand on the great beast. He, like, walks forward through all these, like, there's floating rocks with sigils carved into them, and this thing is just kind of sleeping in the middle. And he just walks up, puts a hand on it, and wakes it up. The slumbering behemoth slumbers no more. Right?
Light sleeper.
Yeah, it would seem so. And we'll have somebody who kind of doubts the story based on that revelation, that they shouldn't be such a light sleeper, right? They're the elemental incarnation of the EP times.
Yeah.
Why should they wake up so easy, right?
Should be a dark sleeper.
So the beast roars, a sound imbued with all the fears one finds in the deep night.
It sounds like a garden hose before the water comes out. Just air, because it's like an anteater's neck that just roaring.
Yeah, it can't roar yet. It makes the posture of a roar, but it takes so long to like go through its impossibly long neck that it takes like a full 3 seconds before the sound erupts. From Isilu, the name of this creature, comes a wave of darkness, right? So it gets up, it roars, a wave of darkness pours out, flows out over them and out of the gate onto the sunlit plains that they had originally landed on, right? So here's a quote. As the darkness flowed across the meadow, it swallowed the sunlight and created brief auroras of color to fade and die in the dark. Those auroras left transformations in their wake. The pooling dark thinned, shifting into more ordinary night, and the sky overhead erupted in stars, the sun becoming a thin eclipsed ring of fire in the distance, while the moon sprang to sudden total fullness. The grasses withered and died, and flowers largely following, even as some sprang to greater glowing life. The spirals remained, some reversing direction, others becoming jagged and broken. Atop a standing stone stood the little blue fairy that had lured the students to the omen path, wings and arms outspread, its blue carapace shining in the last rays of the sun. As the darkness washed over it, it too was transformed. The almost human edges of its face hardened, turning more insectile, while its eyes grew large and golden. Its wings grew tattered at the edges like fallen autumn leaves. A crest grew atop its head, jagged and front-facing like a crown, and the elytra of its wings spread to form a kind of cape, giving the fairy a vaguely regal appearance. Most striking of all, the blue bled out of its carapace, replaced by gleaming gold-flecked green. The fairy looked down at itself and giggled, apparently pleased with what it saw. It flapped its newly tattered wings and launched itself into the air, following the path of darkness. In a matter of seconds, it was gone.
I would
Okay.
have thought it'd turn into a dung beetle.
Things are making sense for me now because I've looked at the cards, but I didn't understand this. So they woke up the big nighttime beast, caused a wave of darkness, hence Lorwyn Eclipse, and that's why everything has like -1 counters as like a big mechanic because everything is normally a light creature that got hit with a wave of dark. So you kind of got to dig yourself out of the dark to get your full power in this set. Okay,
Yeah.
it's all clicking now. Ethan.
Yeah.
You're making it sense. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like and it's, they're nasty. I mean, yeah, there's differences between, so there's like a number of races on the plane, right? A lot of them like fairy tale-esque races. And they're like Lorwyn sides versus their Shadowmoor sides are different in many regards, but yeah, a lot of like the mechanics around the more Lorwyn themed cards versus Shadowmoor themed cards are very focused on like tribal mechanics. So like when all the creatures attack, if you're working together, you gain bonuses and stuff like that too.
Cool.
Because that's often how Lorwyn sees itself, right? Is work together, commie shit. So the students flee the cave. The beast is behind them, right? They pour out into the sudden night and watch as the beast takes off into the sky. They run into a little patch of daylight, which still remains. So there's this like little fading, like shrinking circle. It's the Fallout, or not Fallout, but sorry, Fortnite circle, shrinking. And they feel safer in the warmth of the sun, but they realize that it's not going to last forever, right?
Okay.
That would be a big play by Todd Howard in 2026, letting out a Fallout Battle Royale as Fallout 5 or something.
Oh my god. Don't give him any ideas.
I mean, kind of amazed it hasn't been done, honestly.
Yeah.
It would sell. It would sell.
Unfortunately.
I think, no doubt, it would sell. Yeah. Let people have fun. Who cares? Unfortunately,
I just want a good Fallout game.
Yeah.
I don't want them to work on that. Is more what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair. That's fair. So as they stand and surveil the situation that they've gotten themselves into, they realize that there is a woman standing some way off in the distance, in another patch of sunlight. And then they also notice that many of the patches of daylight around them are being consumed by the spreading night. So night is spreading further. They realize their little island of daytime won't last forever.
These kids
so
really caused a lot of trouble real quick.
Yeah, I mean, classic kids, am I right? They're gonna walk into the dark cave looking for a tall person and then poke the sleeping bear. That is the elemental incarnation of night.
Well, the dragon thing is tall. They were on the right track.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but we were talking about how like on the Earth at any given time, like because of time zones, people have to brush their teeth, like usually at night and in the morning. So there's a
constant wave
of people brushing their teeth. So right now there's like closing circles of people brushing their teeth as it's turning nighttime into day.
It's like the daylight zone is like fighting the night. It's going like this. Somebody's just like brush their teeth, like spit. Oh shit! So they take off running. The kids take off running, forced to move through darkness at times, which elicits a wince from the leather-clad woman they are running for. So they're running to their dominatrix, as would we all.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
They reach her. She's instantly like, "Hey, come on, we got to go. We can't stay here. So no time to talk." They follow her further away until they reach a safe distance. She does eventually introduce herself. She's an older Kithkin. Again, there's no humans on this plane, so she's a Kithkin. She introduces herself as Bridget Bailey, who tells them that the creature they just saw was Isilu, the elemental incarnation of night itself here on Lorwyn. Bridget, for
Really?
anyone who
Imagine more
sorry,
of a dark elf when you said leather-clad. I think it's just because you said dominatrix. I was
yeah,
expecting something more goth and sexy.
that's fair.
It's just a squat little lady.
Yeah, it's got a little halfling or
Yeah.
Kithkin as they're called here. Kithkin are pretty cool. They're halflings. They have something called the Thought Weft, which is like when they live together in like close knit communities for a long time, they can start to like communicate telepathically. Abigail, because she's deaf, does have the capacity. She also has like some magic which lets her communicate telepathically. And this one's like, "Hey, you're not part of the Thought Weft. Don't talk to me in my brain anymore."
Okay.
Um, she's
You kids have
also
caused enough trouble. Stay out of my dreams, sort of shit.
yeah, she's also cut off from the Thought Weft, so you guys probably don't remember, but maybe people listen to our last episode. During the Phyrexia's invasion, they corrupted the Thought Weft and used that to complicate people. Phyrexia did, and so
Okay.
a lot of Kithkin were cut off from it during that time, and she's one of the people. Bridget, also one of the heroes we talked about during the last episode, though we really didn't focus on her very much. But she was one of like the cast of characters who took down the Queen Una of the Fae.
Okay.
Okay.
And she leads them away. She leads the group away towards the Kithkin settlement of Gold Meadow. Just, I mean, peak naming for your Hobbit village, Gold Meadow.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to call it, honestly. Elsewhere on the plane, however, we have a little fairy who recently transformed, arrives back in Glen Elendra, which was once the seat of power of a little fairy queen named Una, but now the home of Queen Marilyn of the Fae. So Marilyn was one of the other people who took out Una. She was a clone of Una. You guys will surely recall that was Una had planned to use her to maybe survive an aurora not caused by her, but caused by the time rifts in Dominaria.
Wasn't there a giant tree as well involved?
There was a tree folk who was
Yes.
involved
Yeah.
in all of this as well, who planted himself as a seed and then came back as a sapling and also
Yes.
helped them defeat.
Okay.
Yeah, and so she's queen of the fairies now. She's queen of the fae now. She overtook her. Is it a mom if you're a clone? Like, is the original your mom? I don't think so, right? What do
I
you
don't
call
know. I don't know. You posted this picture, and I was thinking, like, the last time we played together with Liz, who likes to play silly little guys, and I feel like she's gonna
them?
love this set, and she's gonna be part of our new pod, right?
Yeah, there's stuff. My other deck, which is Anti Ool.
Okay.
I'm excited to show her the art on the card because she'll be very into this weird little guy that I got.
Nice.
Yeah. So the fairies is this fairy is heading back to Glen Elendra while the students go to. So the students leave the cave. They see this fairy. They see it transform. They see it seemingly delighted with its transformation, which they don't have any reason to think it weird now. But we as third party observers can say like it's weird that a fairy would see its own transformation and like think it novel in a way because every creature here should have an understanding of what a transformation looks like, right? Like it should be pretty inherent.
Okay.
But put a pin in that for next episode, I think. So yeah, this was the trickster like that tricked them into this place. And once this fairy gets back to Glen Elendra, it steps back into daylight and transforms from the Shadowmoor self again back into the blue chitinous fairy that we saw originally. And this fairy is here with a purpose, it seems. She flies to the chamber of the Queen Marilyn, right? She's laying in bed. She's seemingly plagued with a nightmare, something which is happening more and more frequently of late. Maybe auspicious that your fairy queen is having dreams of ill portent, you know? And she wakes up just as her personal fairy swarm flits into the room. So fun thing about being queen of the fairies is you get a personal fairy swarm.
I like
Whoa.
this.
It's basically like a swarm of attendants, I guess, who are like here to do your hair, I guess, and attend to your duties. But
It's very Disney princess. I think I would take a swarm of little servants opposed to like one butler, right? If it
I
was
take
just like your robe, sir, every time I got up, it's like, oh, thank you, Alfred, whatever. But then if I just like got up like Snow White and
I
like
don't think
fairy
that could
beetles
be.
dressed me,
I mean, of course you would. Of course, anybody with of sound mind would take a swarm of fairies over a regular guy. I think
yeah.
the comparison is: do you want a swarm of fairies or a very tall person that can give you uppies?
Okay.
Ooh.
I think that's got it because that's the more difficult choice. I think,
I'm gonna have to
and I think.
ruminate on that one. Let me think about that.
Mhm.
Would you take a swarm of fairies or all the active people in our Discord as servants? Like Saucy comes and puts your hat on, like Fragile puts your robe on, like Avocado and
Button
Jodo
me
put your
up.
gloves on, and like I want to mention more, but anyways.
No, it's just like the Wallace and Gromit like dressing machine, but it's just like guys I know from the server.
And girls,
And girls.
Turtle's there too. We have a girl in the Discord server,
That's
okay?
true.
So,
More than one. More than one.
and more than one, of course.
Yeah.
Lucy and G. So Queen Marilyn gets up. Her fairy swarm arrives. Her fairy swarm is like, "Hey, something weird's going on. One of us is missing." Okay, there's supposed to be 35 fairies in your swarm. There's 34 fairies in your swarm.
I
Worse than
noticed my
that.
buttons were crooked. This is the 35th fairies.
Honest Don and David, where are they? They're supposed to be moderating.
Exactly. Worse than that, someone is sleeping in Honest Don and David's bed. There's not only a fairy missing, but there's an imposter in your swarm. Isn't that weird?
Uh-oh.
Is it a Goldilocks?
This button's too warm. This button's too cold. And this button's just right. uh, so she sends the fairies to. She's like, "Hey, I'll stay here in Glen Elendra until we can find the other fairy. This fairy named Aharon. Go find him." Right. And as she says that, there's a knock on her door, and it's her old friend Reese, once an elf of the Gilt Leaf who had his horns broken off in a confrontation where it turns out the Gilt Leaf are the ruling elves of Lorwyn back in the day, and they
Oh,
were
I kind of remember this. Yeah.
so they were gassing a bunch of goblins because goblins are ugly, and the elves believe like beauty is virtue. It's like
Right.
this is why what I was getting at when I said like, what was that, James?
Nothing.
Yeah,
What?
could you repeat it in Abigail's accent for me, please?
Yeah. So wait, they're looking for what color is the last fairy that they're looking for? It's not a red heron that they're looking for. Right?
It's not mentioned,
Okay.
but I'll go out on a limb and say this transforming fairy, which we know is blue and green, is probably supplanting that one.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there's plenty of breadcrumbs here for you guys, and I will not confirm or deny one way or another, but there's some breadcrumbs here for you guys to figure out
Okay, good.
who this fairy is.
Phew, he got off me as soon as I did the pun. Yeah.
So they meet up with Reese. Reese was like,
Goddamn fairies. Is it Jason disguised again? Because he does that. And
I
that's why
will,
it's blue.
I will not confirm or deny. I think you could take some more guesses, but
Okay.
there's someone else we've met who I think is a better fit. If you could ever remember who they were. So it meets up with Reese. Reese was like the first character we talked about in the last episode. Some would say the main character, maybe Marilyn was the main character. Tough to say, but certainly one of like the more prominent characters in the original Lorwyn Shadowmoor trilogy of books. He had his horns broken in that confrontation, so he was ugly and he was kicked out, and he definitely helped kill Una as well. He parried the moon glove poison, which ended up defeating her, I believe. And Marilyn's like, "Hey, glad you're here. Let's go see Erdu, the elemental incarnation of daytime, who happens to be hanging out in Glen Elendra
Okay.
right now."
I didn't remember that.
You
I
there.
remember.
I'll go. We got to go see the sun god.
Did not remember that. I just remember the pun that I made the last time. It was something about air do well or ne'er do well for air do. Okay.
Sure. Okay, so I'm only giving you $1 million then.
Oh,
You get
thanks,
close
man.
Not a bad haul, honestly.
And the Bluey doll.
So off the table. So a quote from Sheena
Almost.
McGuire: "Shake off slumber." At the moment, the courtyard contained only daylight, stripped of all shadow. Unlike the rest of the palace, there was no ambiguity here, no variation, only Lorwyn. And at the center of it all lounged a great impossible beast, 6-legged, with red and white fur and a long tail of thorns that looped around the entire space as barrier and banner. Its wings were folded in contentment and to make it small enough to fit. A gleaming sun hovered just above its head, and warmth and light radiated off it in a wave, turning the courtyard golden and comforting. It raised its head as Marilyn approached, looking at her in silent familiarity.
Both both the art for the Erdu and for the Moon God are so good. And
Yeah.
I'd have to guess that Erdu's legs are also ambulantic.
Yeah, they're ambulances.
Okay.
He's got paramedic feet. So in the story, they go see Erdu, and Erdu kind of like looks up at Marilyn and Reese, and then immediately leaves, like immediately flies away. Okay, so you can also put a little pin in that for now. All right.
Okay.
However, the
So
break
both
of dawn.
the day monster and the night monster have both just flown off at this point.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
like they don't seem to communicate. They're not good communicators, I guess we could say, right? They had nothing but a glance, which says. I also love the idea of like this thing giving you, looking at you in silent familiarity, is what the book said. When it's literally staring at the sun. Like you're literally just like, oh god, yeah, they see you, man.
Not good communicators. Both of them have no mouths but must shine.
Yeah.
I guess
I
you
did.
could. I guess you could say we're in the Shadowmoor half of this episode, huh?
Oh, I guess so, yeah.
Like the moon dragon, like wakes up, roars an ad for fucking BetterHelp, and then flies off into the night.
Yeah. Go ahead, give us your best impression of a paranoid schizophrenic, guys. Jamie, you go ahead, do it in an Abigail voice, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Paranoid schizophrenic deaf owl.
If you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see that I've always been on the night side of things, and Ethan and Peter have been in the light side of things. You can kind of see the eclipse, like right where our cameras end here.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Ethan has the best lighting, in my opinion.
Yeah, sure. You guys want to see what my lighting is? So I'm not gonna show.
I actually know because you just posted a picture. It's a lamp pointed at the wall.
Yeah, but there's also this. You see this here?
Oh yeah.
So this is just a lamp at the far side of the room, which I have turned up to just like face me. Like, it's one of those like Pixar lamps that like looks down. It's an IKEA lamp with like a bending arm, and I just have it like looking at me like this, basically.
Yeah.
Oh,
since we're showing off settings, I have more dramatic lighting because I like to sit in the dark in my basement apartment.
Yeah. I always take the lampshade off the lamp that's just to my left here because my apartment's so fucking dark. I do have the OnlyFans girl ring light that Jamie has there as well. And then I always I have to take the shade off because my apartment's just so fucking dark with just only north facing windows. And the sun goes down in September in Montreal and comes up in March.
Okay. So on the plane of Lorwyn, right? What we were talking about, we have our 4 students who are being escorted to Gold Meadow by the Kithkin hero Bridget, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they get there, they meet with a group of Kithkin leaders who are immediately like, hey, you're outsiders. We can't hear you in our thoughts. It's pretty obvious that you're not from around here, bro. They explain their situation. They're pretty honest and upfront about like, hey, we're students. We fell through an interdimensional portal. Then we woke up your angry night god.
This is actually the opposite of what we need. We were looking for a tall guy, and now we're in a village of little
short
guys.
people.
We have gone completely the wrong direction at this point.
There is like a funny moment. There's like an interesting moment where like one of the characters realizes like their goblin companion Sonar is like the same height as everyone in this village. Like these people are like his height, and then it's like, I never really thought about it, but it must be really weird for my goblin friend in a school full of tall people, right? To him, like he lives outside his world.
Playing through Baldur's Gate 3 as a halfling is very funny when you see the cutscenes and you're just always looking up at people. Always. Yeah. And they do a very good job of making you realize how small you are in the cutscenes as well. Yeah.
I mean, I played as a gnome so very similar, right? I'd imagine it's the same, probably character mesh, honestly. But that game famously has sex scenes in it that you can watch and are sexy. And I had sex with exactly one character named Mizora, who's a devil. and the sex scene between my little guy with his like big handlebar mustache and this devil was just both uncomfortable and fun.
Yeah, I did. I had one too, and it was the same, like being so small, and like I did it with the swamp lady, who's all about being more powerful and like being dominant with each other, and just imagining this guy who is 3 foot nothing going after this 6 foot like swamp fighter who's like, yeah, it was very funny. I watched it with my girlfriend, and she hated seeing the swamp lady's vagina, but
No class, your girlfriend, let me
no.
tell you.
Yeah.
So they meet the Kithkin leaders, this group of students. Bridget, hearing their story in full as well, realizes like, hey, that creature you're following is definitely a fairy, right? That lured you into that omen path. Is able to tell them that. And then of course, Bridget is just so happens to be a close friend of Marilyn, who's the queen of the fairies, right? So she's like, hey, you guys follow a fairy seem to have tricked you into here. I happen to know the queen of the fairies. We're good friends. Before Lorwyn became Lorwyn Eclipsed, I did kind of help this fairy queen depose the last fairy queen, right?
Now, are we going to find out who the fairy who lured them into Lorwyn is
Not on
by
this
the end of this episode?
No, not on
No?
this episode. No, put a
Okay.
pin in
I
it.
wonder if it's the deposed fairy queen in disguise, is a new guess I have, which I
That's
will
all-
forget.
It's also a good guess. Also a
Okay.
good guess. All good guesses so far. There's still more characters that you might guess. Just because the magic canon's so big. But
Yeah.
both good guesses so far, Pete. Jamie, you
It's
better.
Karn.
Nico Bolas.
Damn. Okay, Jamie got it.
Yes.
Back up, Pete.
Damn.
Yes.
Another $1
Daddy
million
Magnet
for
Dragon.
Jamie.
So Bridget offers to send a message to Marilyn when they're all surprised by, wouldn't you know it, a little blue fairy flying in through the window. So they're back. They're back here to taunt them.
A heron.
They all turn to look at the bird that just flew in before the creature, like seeing all their dumbfounded faces, just breaks out into laughter, maniacal laughter. Wouldn't last long before the laughter is replaced, maybe not replaced, overwritten by the sound of alarm bells in the city.
Whoa.
We're just outside the city walls. Isilu walked. Flowing night in his wake, it began to take over the city of Gold Meadow as they looked on. So I sent you guys a picture of Baralf Horsley, which is just like Goldwyn and the Kithkin being transformed as night hits their city, basically, right? So here's another quote while you guys marvel at that from Sean and McGinnon's A Weary of This Moon. The great beast took long, intentional steps, legs moving with an elegant grace which would have been easier to appreciate if not for the darkness that poured off of it in never-ending waves. Where the darkness fell, the night descended. The students rushed to the window to join her and watched as the sudden night began to overtake the city. Everywhere the darkness touched, the city was transformed. The wall grew higher, topped with long spikes pointing both inward and outward. The ladders vanished, making the territory impassable. The buildings nearest the wall remained the same shape, but sprouted spikes and bars along their windows. The spirals worked into their architecture, growing more tangled and defensive. Even the doors grew narrower, making it easier to shut them against the world. So it's not just the people; it is like the physical aspects of the plane do change into like a more paranoid wall, right?
Yeah,
One
yeah.
of those types.
I didn't realize it spookified it. Like the architecture was what I was thinking. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Like the entire everything has changed.
Everything
Cool.
changed, except for the students, seemingly, who have passed through a couple times now through little pockets of it, right?
Okay.
So this is again a transformation which used to dominate the plane of Lorwyn Shadowmoor. It's specifically in Gold Meadow. Like Gold Meadow did have like a Shadowmoor version back when like the entire plane used to flip between day and night, right? But since Bridget and her allies had broken the Aurora, night does not overtake day the same way it once did. And it largely respects some of the more established boundaries. Okay. So Gold Meadow has existed in Lorwyn for years at this point. It is like one of those places where it seems like Erdu and Isilu, who spread night and day throughout the plane, have this like agreement on like which places don't get touched. This place is always Shadowmoor. That place is always Lorwyn. And it seemed like Gold Meadow was a place that was always Lorwyn.
Wow,
So
bad
this is
breath.
unusual.
Bad breath there. No one's brushing their teeth because
No
it's
one's brushing their teeth.
always
There's
day.
no Terminator.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's existed for in Lorwyn for years at this point. The Kithkin locals would welcome nomadic Kithkin into the walls. So like there's Kithkin who live in their settlements, and then there's also like these wandering nomads that are like also a pretty nomadic culture. Um, because Lorwyn Kithkin are very welcoming of outsiders. Shadowmoor locals are not so welcoming of
Okay.
nomads in their city, right? Of no Hare Krishna busking outside the metro and a Shadowmoor city, basically. Uh, so fearing a pogrom, Bridget tells the students like, "You guys are going to need to find Marilyn on your own. I got things to deal with here." All of a sudden, my plates suddenly become full, right?
Yeah. Okay.
As she says that, a rock like crashes through the window to the where they're having their meeting. Basically, she gives them directions, and she just disappears into the daytime, which is still outside the door. Um, but night is
My
spreading.
dumbass thought there would be like a message tied to the rock for some
No,
reason. Yeah.
just like
Too bad.
just angry rock. The message
Okay.
is go away, I guess.
Okay.
Presumably to the students, maybe to the daytime people. I don't know.
A rock crashes through the window. A note says, "I did 9/11."
A rock crashed through a window while I ran, huh?
Yeah.
So the students take off. They say like, okay, it seems like it's time to go then, right? They avoid the night where they can, and they see a battle breaking out where the city is split between light and dark. So the Dayside are clearly trying to wound, not kill their counterparts, but they're not necessarily being afforded the same courtesy, right? Because they're like, hey, these were my neighbors 20 minutes ago, so I'm going to try not to
Yeah.
kill them, right? Try and bring them back onto the day side of things.
Shoot your neighbors in the legs.
Yeah.
Lesson from the lore boys.
Exactly.
It can't kill you.
Yeah.
If you shoot
Scientifically
one,
impossible.
yeah. If you kill your neighbor, then that's just one. But if you shoot your neighbors in the leg, that takes out 3 neighbors from the fight because 2 have to drag them out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Is that from like the 3rd StarCraft novel? I think is where I first heard that concept explained.
I've always heard
The
it in reference into like I think it was like World War I or something. Like they would shoot.
Yeah. It's a thing where I first heard it was the 3rd StarCraft novel, which is the best StarCraft novel. Just my take. Where they're like fighting the Zerg, and that's like how they were trained to fight, but the Zerg don't care. So the Zerg are just like, no, like we're not going to pick up our wounded comrades, basically.
Okay,
yeah. A weird memory that came back to me from when I was 12 and read that book.
I
Right?
didn't even know you read those StarCraft books. Yeah.
I read the first 3.
Okay.
I wonder now. Shadow of the Xel'Naga was the second one, and I did not appreciate it. I wonder if I would appreciate it more now. It was about brainwashing Terran Marines. They're all brainwashed, and they had false memories implanted so that they would be better fighters, believing that they had less to live for.
What Terran
have false memories, but deployed to Iraq.
Yeah. Terran TikTok is just doing numbers on them, man.
Yeah, they said that the Protoss are barring the way to Aruba. What's the Antarctic paradise called?
Oh, Agartha.
Agartha,
Yeah,
that's it.
right. Okay, yeah.
Aruba, I believe, is a real place.
Jamaica, Agartha, come on, pretty mama. So there's this fight in the street, right? We do see as Bridget is fighting, a shadow appears behind her, pulls her into a patch of night. She struggles for a moment, but quickly stills until she transforms as well. So I did post a picture. So Bridget and a lot of cards in the set have a transform mechanic, which is like a relatively old mechanic, but basically they're like double-faced cards. They don't have like a card back.
Cool.
They have something on both sides. And so she transforms between like Bridget, clan leader, and then Bridget Dune Mind or something. I don't know. But yeah, she that's the dark side. That's the backside of her card, basically. They have mechanics would interplay off that. Again,
a hobbit with glowing eyes is what makes it evil, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. She also has like, is that the same spear? It's a different spear. So this one now her spear has teeth, which again, like the architecture change, so does her spear. Yeah.
Unbrushed teeth. Or
unbrushed
brushed
teeth, yeah.
or well brushed teeth
Brushed
because
teeth.
she's
she just brushed them.
flipping back and forth. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, she got pulled into the Shadow Moor, and then she struggled briefly, but then she had to brush her teeth, so she had to stop struggling. And then yeah. So the students flee. They're like, we got to get out of town. They find some of the landmarks Bridget had described before she turned into Spooky Bridget, right? They managed to get to this big old forest. It is a long walk, however, to where they're going, to Glen Elendra.
The scariest thing about her shadow version is she now has fingerless gloves.
Yeah, smoking gloves. That's
For
part of the
smoking in the parking lot.
part of the transformation. You get smokers gloves, man. What can I say? So it's a long walk, right, to get to Glen Elendra. They have to head through the Gilt-Leaf Woods, as they're called, where some band of elves might live, known as the Gilt-Leaf. And it's a shady forest, not Shadowmoor shade, but it's just natural shade. And as they're walking, the length of the walk lets their guard drop a little bit. The vampiric student Kirill begins lagging behind. Each of the students is focused on the march or chatting with someone else. And so none of them notice when a figure appears out of the shaded forest and grabs Kirill, pulling them away from the group with a hand over their mouth.
Okay.
Uh,
We didn't
they're-
bring enough trail mix or blood. I'm tired.
yeah, exactly. This jerky has no blood left in it. What the? How am I supposed to eat this? So they get kidnapped. It's an elf of the Gilt-Leaf named Lorwyn, who wants to. And Lewin's like, "Hey, why the fuck is Asilu walking the grounds now? We know you had something to do with it. You're not from around here. Um, you're not supposed to be here. Well, what are you? We don't have vampires on our plane.
Right.
What's with your teeth?" Carol does offer up a little. They know. They're like, "Hey, I'm a student. We came here. The beast just woke up, and now we're trying to figure everything out. We're trying to get to Glen Elendra."
Yeah.
Lewin's,
Did you guys think about calling an adult? That's what I said, but the adult won't fly up there.
We've been looking for an adult. We just found a very old-looking child. Okay.
The tith. What are they called? The
Tifkin.
Kithkin?
Tithkin. Yeah, they all have progeria, which is like the.
Yes. Yeah.
Lewin's not satisfied. He's like, "Bullshit. Okay, you got to come with me. We're gonna go see the High Perfect Morcant." Okay.
Cool,
High
great title.
Perfect. Yeah, High Perfect. We talked about it the last episode. That's like the title of like the ruler or rulers of the Gilt-Leaf, basically. High perfects, then high perfects. And again, it's this idea of like beauty is virtue. So like they are perfect
Right.
physically. So that must mean that they're fit to rule, right?
Yeah.
And again, Reese, who objectively good guy, who did save the realm from Una, evil fairy, had his horns broken and was kicked out of the tribe. He's like, they're like,
Right.
"You're ugly now," right?
Yeah.
The high
So you
perfect
must be evil.
is even better than dude perfect. They can get like a ping pong into a cup off the Grand Canyon. Yeah.
So could dude perfect, man.
You think so?
Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Those guys do some incredible things. Okay.
Big fan. I didn't know.
I love watching those compilations
I-
sometimes when I'm in the right state of mind.
When he's
and I
high
find one on
perfect.
YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when I'm high perfect,
yeah.
dude. They're so good.
Perfect, high perfect, dude perfect. Okay, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finna get dude perfect after this show, honestly.
So the elf Lewin begins leading his captive Kirill to Lis Alana, capital city of the elves here on this plane. They head straight for the High Perfect, the elves' leader.
Oh my.
Not many elves even get to meet this lady. The only warning that should Kirill insult her in some way, Kirill will be killed, is basically all Lewin tells him. So Kirill is brought before the best-looking feet this side of the Wanderwine, right? There is a bit of scuttlebutt. So I did post a picture for you guys. There is a bit of scuttlebutt about. So elves in Lorwyn have hooves; they don't have feet.
Okay.
And there's a bit of scuttlebutt about like why did they just put little hoof toes on the end of regular feet and then so prominently display them in this artwork? But
For the gooners.
hey, I'm not yucking anyone's yum on this one. Okay.
Yeah. Full credit to Victor Adam Minguez, the artist for this one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Give the gooners another lore
Victor
win.
Adam Tarantino. Oh, that should have given it away.
So Kirill is dumbstruck by her beautiful feet and her beauty generally, but I'm going to say Loreboy's canon, it's the feet.
Yep.
He's instantly on board with helping. they are instantly on board with helping. They basically go so far as to express that they're just glad they were kidnapped so that they could but gaze upon those Piggly Wigglies. Okay?
Oh.
They're like, I'm so glad I got kidnapped and got to meet you. You're beautiful.
I was specifically a toe vampire back home.
Yeah, yes. I have been
I
known
don't suck
to
blood.
suck a thing or two, my lady. Nervously, Carol does share their story that they fell through Nomapath and that another student woke Asilu. High Perfect Morcant does doubt them, however. There's nothing in the history books that explains why a little goblin should have even been able to wake Asilu. This is kind of what I mentioned before. There's no reason to think that like just touching Isilu should have been able to wake them up. Okay.
Okay.
So Kirill is pretty confused, and Morkan explains the cycle in the 4th story installment, which is called Fetch Me That Flower. Here's the quote. Our world is defined by day and night, said Morkant. Perfect, beautiful, faultless day and wicked, twisted, bitter night. Once the great aurora kept the night contained and the day protected so that we were shielded from one another. But the aurora fell, and in its place 2 beasts arose, one glorious and good, one embittered and evil. Erdu and Asilu, Lorwyn and Shadowmoor. Where they walk, night becomes day and day becomes night, and the precious border shifts, ignoring treaties, unmaking oaths. They can never meet. Where one has walked, either night or day will linger until the other arrives. We hear word that Isilu walks in Gold Meadow and through the fields around it. These are places ceded to the day. If we can't put the night elemental back to sleep and lure Erdu to soothe the broken light of those places, they may be lost to Shadowmoor forever. So this is what I was talking about before. This is the bad character who clearly is like using this construct of like day and night is good and evil wrongly, which again, the beauty is virtue person would say that, right?
Yeah.
But it is like in the story, it calls out like this is in direct opposition to what like Bridget had told Kirill in their time with Bridget was basically like, hey, they're not all good and bad. Like even as people were transforming in the city, they're like, they're just paranoid. Like they're they're just not comfortable with strangers and they're lashing out right now, but they're not necessarily like bad for it. They just are scared. So Morkant's not honestly not even too upset that Isilu is walking around, despite what she kind of was just saying about like, oh, this is terrible. Whatever happened to Gold Meadow, that's Kithkin problems. She sees an opportunity here, specifically an opportunity to take out Isilu. Okay. She
Oh, okay.
She figures if the elemental is operating outside its usual cycle, maybe it is weakened in some way. And again, like this is because she thinks that nighttime bad, daytime good, because I'm pretty in the day and I want to stay pretty
Yes.
forever, right? And we're all pretty in the daytime. So
What do
better
her toes look like? Yeah, when it's Shadowmoor.
can't see them. It's too dark.
Oh
Dang.
God.
No. No.
I thought this was the point of the episode, Ethan. I don't know what you were talking about before we started.
So High Perfect Morcant wants to remove Asilu to take out the god and establish both a permanent Lorwyn on the plane and the empire that would come with it, the Gilt Leaf Empire of the Past, reborn, right?
Okay.
So probably don't remember, but we did talk about how the Gilt Leaf took a big hit during the Phyrexian invasion. They were kind of like the first people like hit by the Phyrexians coming onto the plane, and they took a lot of damage and ended up working pretty closely with like the Shadowmoor elves specifically were like very on board to work with the Phyrexians.
I think I remember that. Yeah, I remember there were like traders on the plane that were like, "Yeah, compliment me, bro. Do it."
Yeah, so like the elf,
Not just the Wi-Fi hobbits either.
yeah, exactly. The like Una, Queen of the Fairies, was like the monarch of the plane, but in terms of like fairies don't have ambition in the same way that like elves do in
Okay.
Lore and Shadowmoor. So like they were very much like we do run the plane in a lot of ways, though, right? Like yeah, we pay tithe to Una, but the rest of the time, like we're just free to do our own schemes.
Okay.
So Morkan starts monologuing, right? Carol starts whimpering, and we see the devising of a plan to create a poison powerful enough to kill the knight, one which might have killed a Queen of Fairies at some point in the past, right? But put a pin in that because we're going to jump back to elsewhere in the Giltleaf Woods, where now a trio of students has finally noticed that they've lost their vampire, right? Everyone, get out your mirrors to look for him. No, wait, damn it.
Yeah. I was trying to think of some kind of mirror joke there where they notice that there is no longer a floating shirt and pants next to them
Yeah.
in the mirror. Like, oh no, Carol.
They're in the forest. Like,
Uh,
wait, do we invite him into the forest before we got? What if he fell on a wooden stake?
Yeah. They did, right before this happened, fly him over a river. So running water's not a problem for our vampire.
Good. Okay.
This
Oh,
iteration.
okay. Who invited them into the forest?
They were sent. Oh, no one did. No one canonically did. But that was the
No
joke
one
that
keep
Jamie just made. So I don't know if you're just making the same joke or.
Did he?
Yes.
Yeah.
That they weren't invited? I didn't even hear that. I'm so sorry. That's crazy.
That's okay. That's why I thought Jamie made the joke and you misunderstood it as a genuine thing. And then I was like, and I was like, wait, no, you're making the same joke that Jamie just made. But
No, it in one ear out the other. I'm so sorry. Did not hear it at all.
P was up till 4
Pete's
a.m.
alright.
last
Edit that
night.
Yeah. Pete's already that high perfect, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
So they start looking for Kirill, right? They're like, we can't just go on without our vampire. We need him. They backtrack on the trail. They're looking. They find prints, but it turns out elf kidnappers aren't the only thing to fear in these woods, right? Abigail, the owlkin, deaf as she is, kind of just stomping around the forest, right?
Which
Stumbles
is-
upon a great beast.
Owls are so quiet in real life, dude. It's funny to think
I
of
know.
a deaf
when they
clomper.
fly,
The deaf owl's loud though.
Yeah.
It's the opposite.
yeah. When they fly, they're quiet, right?
Yep.
And there is like a thing in the story where she's like constantly refusing to fly for a variety of reasons, which
Right.
Okay.
I didn't get in too much into the
Okay.
character details, but yeah. So they're looking for it. It's like described as like Sonar, the monkey goblin, is like following behind her and like hears this great beast like lumbering out of the woods basically, and she's just like completely deaf to it. This great beast, it's not like very well described, the beast, but it's big antlered head and just like towering basically. So this like huge
Okay.
creature. Sonar the goblin grabs a branch, rushes the massive beast, trying to help Abigail, but is batted aside by its antlers, thrown into the woods where he collapses. Abigail rushes the beast, now kind of being aware of what's going on, in Sonar's wake, but is also beaten back. So this is like specifically the beast roars and it like overloads her hearing aid, her psychic hearing aid, basically.
Oh.
So like just does psychic damage. She like falls backwards. She stumbles back. Her foot slips over a riverbank and she plunges into the water of this like tributary, which leads back into the Wanderwine River. It whisks her along, pulling her below the surface of the water and downstream rapidly toward the Great Wanderwine River. How good are owls at swimming, James? You say they're quiet.
I was just thinking. I don't think I ever have seen an owl in the water.
I can't say I have either. I don't think.
Yeah.
No.
I've seen when they pull up the owl's little pants and you can see how long their little legs are. That's pretty
Their
funny.
little legs
though.
are,
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen like owlings or owlets in the all wet from the rain, and they look all like deflated and sad, but they got those big
Yeah.
eyes, you know.
Yeah.
But never thrown on an owl in the river. Hey, listener, go throw an owl in the river.
What they say about the
Little
big
brush
eyes, big goggles.
Mods, go get an owl, throw it into a river.
You know, they can't move their eyes. That's where their heads swivel around.
Mhm.
Maybe we've
Yeah.
talked about this on the show before, but their eyes are like locked, like looking forwards at all times.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna learn I'm gonna teach you guys a new owl fact, which I'm pretty sure you didn't know.
I'm excited.
Uh,
They drown
so
when
she
you
lands
throw
in
them in
their
the water. Yeah, exactly.
They don't have gills, so
That's not fun.
So Abigail lands in the water. She's being pulled along. It's like very fast moving river because it's a tributary leading, like about to empty out into like this much larger river, right? So she thrashes for a moment. She realizes the current's too strong. She calms herself. She kind of like enters a zen state under the water. She doesn't, because she's deaf and she signs. She doesn't speak to cast spells. She doesn't need. There's no verbal components to her spells. Excuse me. Only somatic components to her spells. So she's able to cast like air bubble on herself after a few moments, but she relies specifically, it mentioned in the story, on her air sacs to give her a bit of extra time. And this is the fun fact for you guys. Owls have lungs and air sacs, which are crucial for flight and being able to breathe at higher altitudes.
Like,
Huh.
They got
what's
like
a
an
air?
extra. They got an extra bag of air.
Oh, in their
They have
body?
lungs which breathe by going like like an accordion. And then they got like air sacs that are like inside them, which they can just like inflate, I guess, and use to like
Huh.
buoy themselves on air. I suppose. I don't know. I
Whoa.
didn't look into the exact mechanics of how it works, but it did say it in the script. Like she relied on her air sacs to like hold her breath longer or whatever. I was like, I'm looking this up. Is this like an owlkin thing or is this an owl thing? Yeah,
Owls are very
apparently it's an owl
quiet
thing.
until they spring a leak. It's like a
Huh.
tire. You just hear. Yeah, exactly. Gotta patch the air sac.
I mean, that might be why, like anyone who's ever gone owl hunting, you know that when you shoot them, it's like a cartoon balloon going around the room.
Your beagle goes crazy for it when you send him out there to pick up the bird body, right?
Or it'd be like it pops. It's like a second bang. Blow, pow, and just feathers everywhere.
Yeah, that's why when you buy owl meat in the store, you can only get ground because it's free ground.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, like I said, she managed to cast a spell of air bubble on her head in that moment, but she remains below water, pulled onward while she keeps looking for shallows she might be able to drag herself out of. But I sent you guys a picture here of as she's pulled into the Wanderwine, shapes do appear in the river beside her. The fish people we know and love as merfolk had found her. This one, a Lorwyn merfolk, who warns her that many of its kind have been transformed already into their Shadowmoor selves. This is what I was talking about earlier with Chinese owl sign language. This like merfolk, is signing to her underwater, and
Okay.
her hearing aid is able to translate it for her, even though it's like
Okay.
signing to her in that way.
University these days teaching underwater Chinese hand signals, huh? Is that a real degree, huh? Yeah.
And our
like
tax
how,
dollars are funding it. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
I like how one of the mermen in this photo here has a like scallop shell eye patch, and the only thing that I was thinking is like, that can't be fucking comfortable, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah, you put a little gauze under it, a little seaweed, a little fold of seaweed under it or something, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I was also imagining air bubble. The air bubble helmet obviously makes way more sense than what I had imagined, because I'd imagined her conjuring an air bubble around her and then
Oh,
like plopping down,
I
and
didn't.
I was like,
I didn't describe it well. It did in the story mention like she gets the air bubble around her head and then is like puking water that she had like inhaled in the air bubble and then like
ew.
sort of like half drowning herself again and like has to like get her head and her air bubble out of the way basically.
You guys ever see that?
Takes the bubble off. It's like,
You ever see that guy who's performing at a birthday in a Spider-Man spandex suit, and then he jumps in the pool to do like a stunt, and then immediately realizes that he waterboarded himself, and he's trying to
waterboarding
rip
himself.
rip the Spider-Man suit off, because every time you take a breath, the water comes in, but the water around like covers the mouth again, right? Yeah.
I feel like you gotta just like, and I know you're not, when you're being waterboarded, you're not thinking clearly, but I feel like you just gotta like pull the spandex off your mouth, right? And give yourself
yeah.
a bit of breathing room.
I think I sent this to Pete too. There's guys like, I'm gonna solve a Rubik's cube while being waterboarded.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. Yeah,
it's like 15 seconds of him doing it, and then him sitting up all wet, being like, "I did not solve the Rubik's cube."
yeah. He has like this prep section too. He's just like, all right, let me see, like looking where all the colors are. Then he gets waterboarded, and he's like, not even fucking close. he did about as well as I would have done under the exact same circumstances.
Just got his girlfriend to pour water on a t-shirt on his face, dude. Fun request.
Yeah, let's all waterboard each other. When our Patreon hits 10,000 followers, we'll waterboard each other. All right.
Yep.
So Abigail meets the fish people. Shape of Waters. You know, she says, "Shape of Water, shape it off of my head." Am I right? And then she tells the merfolk of her mission to tell the Fairy Queen what they saw.
When she talks, does the bubble continue to expand because it's like pulling
Yeah,
the bear?
it's
like getting so big.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So she basically tells the merfolk like, "Hey, me and my friends, we got here. We're from another plane. We touched Isilu. He's flying around. Apparently, that was our fault. We don't know what's going on. We're going to talk to the Fairy Queen."
Yeah. Blame
The
the little goblin I brought with me, the monkey man. It wasn't me, I swear.
Yeah. The merfolk says, hey, that's great. We can help you with that. But if that's what you're going to do, before you go, we have something that we have to show you first, basically, right? But that's gonna have to wait for another time because that's all that we have time for today.
Oh, damn.
So we'll end it there. Bit of a cliffhanger for you guys, but I will continue with Lorwyn Part 2.
Cool.
Lorwyn Eclipsed Part 2, perhaps I should say, at some point in the coming future. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. James, do you want to plug your twitch.tv channel?
Yeah, Loreboy James on Twitch. We've been having a lot of fun. I wrote my last podcast episode on there, so you can get some behind the scenes among playing games and all the rest of it. By the time you're listening to this, I'm going to be on a quick hiatus, but I'll be back Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it'll be, when this comes out, my 2-year anniversary of streaming. So pretty cool.
Whoa.
Also, if
Congratulations.
you want to check this stuff out on YouTube, it would really help us. Go like and follow and sub and all that stuff, because we're just now, after almost 9 years of doing this, finally building video content. So help us build up that YouTube as well, and you'll be able to see our faces and all the pictures and all that fun stuff. So yeah,
I do have one cousin who was telling me to do it as of day one. And I always said, like, I know you're right, but we're too lazy to do it, so we're not going to do it. Video content, that is.
Yeah.
And so, Chuck, if you're finally watching, you don't get to say I told you so, because I knew all along. Okay, like, this wasn't because of you, Chuck. That's all I can say. Okay.
One more plug too. Like, we normally plug this right at the end for Patreon, but with this week is our 200th bonus episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a little special game, like if you have been listening for a long time, where we pull random quotes from the archives and the boys have to guess who said it, which is fun to get those. This is what the birth the out of context quotes thing in Discord and all that stuff.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
200 episodes on Patreon. If you've been waiting for a little backlog, it's a great time to jump in, because there's hundreds of hours of content on the Patreon as well. And Pete.
Yeah, Pete, what's going on with Instagram? What kind of thoughts are you following on Instagram, on our shared Instagram these days?
Yeah, I try not to leave too many thirst likes, but sometimes the dummy gummies do get the better of me. But yeah, at Lord Boys Podcast on Instagram. I've never commented on anything on Instagram, so I've never been outed like that. But my buddy's younger brother, because like it'll show you if anybody you follow has liked a photo on Instagram, right? But now it'll show you comments. So sometimes I'll see like a cute animal, and one of my friends or my sister has like, oh my god, so cute, like something very innocent. But then there was like a thirst post of just like some pretty girl with a giant ass, and it was friend of the show Oren's younger brother's account, and it just says like, boy howdy, do I ever love a thick pog. And I was like, I cannot cotton 4K gooning on Instagram. Evan, if you're listening, I got his ass.
Yeah. I am but a man, so I'll see the thirst traps, but I cannot imagine writing so beautiful XOXO heart. That's insane.
Psychotic.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and it's a thing you do, just stop. Like, your life, I promise you, your life will just improve. Like, your life cannot get worse if you just stop. I mean, stop commenting on Instagram generally. Your life will improve, honestly. But the thirst traps is actively making your life worse, I feel like. So
I never comment or like
girls,
on
get your bag.
Yeah, get your bag. By all means. And Pete, how are you gonna get your bag?
I love, yeah, exactly. And also, if you did, so follow us on Instagram, see what I'm gooning to, and then also my book is available on Amazon. The Black Frontier, my comic, is available, linked below. And yeah, thanks so much to everybody who's followed the YouTube already. Thanks to Jono for Bang Average Gaming for doing the editing for us. I think it's I never could have done it because I don't watch podcasts or streaming. So I looked at that. I was like, it was sorcery to me when I was like, it just looks perfect. It's so good.
Jono, if we figured out how to give you producer powers by the time you're editing this episode, add your link to our bio or something. To this episode's description. Everyone go check it out. If you guys like the show, we do have a Patreon, like Jamie said, patreon.com/theloreboys. There's a link in the description below. 200 episodes of bonus content. It's like 100 extra hours, I'd say, at least, because sometimes especially when we drink on the bonus, sometimes we really do go long.
Yep.
But yeah, we had a really fun game playing out of context quotes today, so do check it out. If you don't have the cash to support us financially, you can just leave us a rating or review on your podcast app of choice. It's like the best way for our show to grow organically is to just have like good ratings, and for you guys to just like tell people at work. You're like, hey, new guy at work, Kyle, here's a Monster Energy drink. Do you like video games, Kyle, who drinks Monster Energy? I bet you do, based on
Wow.
pre-existing stereotypes I have in my head. So check out the Lore Boys.
I have an idea, guys. Actually, if you do comment on Gooner posts on Thirst Traps, this is where you can start spreading the Lore Boys word of mouth.
Just find thick booty Latinas and just post a link to our podcast. So funny. Please.
That's what Pete's been doing all along by liking and commenting on these things. It's just
it's not the same when we do it. We want a true because we could get bots to do it too, but that's not what we want. Okay, we want a true grassroots movement of this kind of yeah, you know. The world's crazy right now.
I sure do love a cute pog and the Lore Boys podcast.
The podcast, yeah.
And I think that would constitute a Lore Boys.
Lore Boys
out.
out.